All right, here we go. Franchise Mode, Episode 10, Calgary Flames, 2017 and 2018. The season has come to a halting end at the hands of the Chicago Blackhawks in 6 games. Welcome to Episode 10. We are set for a very big off-season in Calgary. We've got a lot of tough decisions ahead of us. We're going to have a pretty big free agency period as well. That won't be in this episode, but that will be in the off season. So, yes, it was a pretty disappointing end to episode 9. We did lose in the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs in 2018 to the Chicago Blackhawks, as you can see down here in this bottom screen. They will go on to play the Central Division team from. Or the team from the Central Division, which will either be the Dallas Stars or the Minnesota Wild. In the East, it looks like the Leafs, who won the President's Trophy, dominated all season. They're tied 3-3 with the Lightning. They're going to Game 7. The Panthers and the Rangers, the other series, and the Panthers beating the Rangers by a score of 4-1. So they get that done in 5 games. Before we go on here, I just want to apologize for episode 9. It was a little bit long. I think it was about an hour and 7 minutes. We took it from the end of, obviously, the end of round 1, right into round 2 versus Chicago, but I didn't think it went that long. The preview and then the simming of the actual series, it went a lot longer than anticipated. So I'm gonna have a timer on this one. We'll make sure this one does not exceed 60 minutes because that is way too long. First of all, for editing purposes, it's a pain, but more so, it's just who wants to sit there for 100 or for an hour and 7 minutes. So we'll make sure. I want to get right up to the free agency period. So right against July 1, if we can in this video. But we will make sure that if this video goes too long, that we will stop it and pick it up wherever we leave off. But it'd be nice to get through most of the off season in terms of the month of June, which is the draft and then the signing phase. So those are some pretty big moments in the off season. So we'll try and get through that. We've got a lot of like I said, a lot to get to in this episode, but like I said, I don't want it to go over 60 minutes. So we will definitely keep a watch on that and see how much we can get right through. So yeah, we're gonna look at our AHL team and we'll look at our players there and everything and whatnot. You know what? We might just start very quickly. I know at the end of the regular season, we looked at our player stats here. So we don't really need to dissect our NHL team. We know the disappointment in James Neal, who came over in 18 games and posted just 10 points. But we also know that we had some guys that hit the 60-point plateaus. You can see there, Gaudreau, by no surprise. A bit of an off year for Sean Monahan. Not the breakout year for Sam Bennett. Incredible year by Jaromir Jagr. If he does not retire, we're obviously bringing him back. Maybe the decline of Mark Giordano. So we looked at some different storylines at the end of the regular season in terms of our players in the NHL, and with Mike Smith, he just had an incredible season. We know he obviously fell off though in the playoffs in round 2, but 65 plus games there for Mike Smith, an incredible year. We are going into next year. This is one thing we did say at the end of the regular season, is that we will go into next year with Mike Smith and John Gillies. John Gillies came in through, I think it was 6 games there, and he posted a very good numbers there through 6 games. I don't have him on because this was the playoff screen, but yeah, so we're comfortable with John Gillies. Hopefully he grows a little bit more in the off season, and then Mike Smith coming back on what I believe is his final year of his contract, right? Because I believe he had 2 years left when we got him from Phoenix. So we'll take a look quickly here. I just want to look. So yeah, 2 years remaining. This is one of those years. So he will have 1 year after this. So we got basically next year we've got John Gillies and Mike Smith, and then we're hoping that when Mike Smith's contract is up, because he will be he'll be 37, 38 years of age when his contract is up. Obviously we won't be bringing him back, so we're hoping that John Gillies can then take the next step to being an everyday NHL starter. And we still have Tyler Parsons, who we grew for the majority of the season down in Stockton, so we'll take a look at that when we get there. Just quickly looking at Mike Smith's numbers from the playoffs, not too bad. 9-1-5, 6-3-1 through 10 games in the Stanley Cup playoffs. A 2.80 goals against. He was incredible in round 1 against the Edmonton Oilers, but in round 2 against the Chicago Blackhawks, that was obviously a different story. Looking at our players there's Matthew Tkachuk. Led our team with 8 points through 10 games. Incredible playoffs out of him. He was injured against the Oilers, and I believe it was game 1. Did come back and had an incredible series, and also stayed consistent through that Hawks series. You can see he's already an 85. He has grown a little bit this season. I can't wait to see the jump that he'll take into next season. Behind Johnny Gaudreau, this is a really good second line left winger at 20 years of age, medium elite. This guy's just going to continue to grow. So we have a really fantastic player in Matthew Tkachuk for our top 6 in years to come. Versteeg kind of surprised me up there, 7 points. That third line did good in the playoffs. James Neal, not bad in the playoffs, considering he only had, 10 points in 18 games in the regular season. He posted 7 points in 10 games in the playoffs. So that's more like the James Neal that we were wanting from Vegas when we made that trade, and he obviously finished as a +6, so pretty good numbers actually for James Neal, so not too disappointed there after kind of a disappointing end to the regular season. TJ Brody has just been fantastic all year for us, 7 points. There's Jaromir Jagr, 6 points through 10 games. That's pretty damn good for a 46-year-old. Like I said, incredible season in which he put up 27 goals there, and I forget what it was, like 52, 53 points maybe. So we will try and bring him back, but I really do have a feeling that he will retire. Johnny Gaudreau had a pretty good regular season, dropped off in the playoffs a little bit. 6 points through 10 games is still not bad, but obviously you want more out of your star player. Michael Backlund down there for Lynn Monahan, we obviously wanted a lot more out of, both in the regular season and the playoffs, but again, 23 years of age, medium elite, 86. I hope he takes another jump into being that elite number 1 center into next year. Sam Bennett was the interesting one in both the regular season and the playoffs. He's starting to play more like that third line player. Doesn't look like he will, maybe get to being a top 6 forward in this league. He has grown to an 82, but he does have low elite. But it's going to be interesting. We'll have to make we'll have to make a decision here with Sam Bennett going forward. I just want to look at his contract. He's got 1 year left as well. So just like Mike Smith, he's only got 1 more year remaining after this off season. So it'll be interesting. Obviously, we will keep him next season, but it'll be interesting to see what we do with Sam Bennett moving forward. For League, Jankowski is really taking over Bennett's spot. I want to see him grow the most out of everybody. 76 overall. I really want to see him jump into the 80s. If we could at least get into 80, 81 for the start of next season, because he is going to be our third line centerman. He's playing a very valuable depth role for us. So to get Jankowski to grow during the offseason, that could be huge. Dougie Hamilton down there, Stone, Browria, and Giordano, as mentioned. Bit of a disappointment, but he is dropping off 34. He'll be 35 years of age. I think you'll see that 87 go down. Starting next season and moving forward, but we do have a great amount of defensemen waiting in the weeds down there in the AHL, so we'll take a look at them here in a second. Matt Stajan has played his final few games as a Calgary Flame. You know what? This guy was such a this is a guy that came over in that Dion Phaneuf trade. He's the only piece remaining from that Dion Phaneuf trade. Of course, there was tons of speculation way back when the Flames traded their franchise defenseman at the time, and Dion Phaneuf, who had so much potential at the time. The Flames really could have got so much more than what they did for Dion Phaneuf. I think there was a rumor at the time that the Philadelphia Flyers were interested in Phaneuf, and they were going to possibly trade the Calgary Flames' Claude Giroux, who at the time was really a nobody. Excuse me. Dry throat here. Going back to the time, I forget what year the Flames traded Phaneuf, but at the time, they had guys like Richards and Carter and Briere, Pronger. They weren't, Claude Giroux was not really a face on that team. He was just this young guy who was coming in, and there was rumors that the Flyers were willing to trade Claude Giroux for Dion Phaneuf. At the time, that made a lot of sense for both teams. Obviously, it didn't happen. If it had happened, Calgary would have obviously stolen that trade. Didn't happen. We got Matt Stajan instead. But coming back to Stajan, this guy has been a warrior for this team for so many years. A lot of people got on his case when he got to Calgary that they didn't like this guy. He was never going to do much. He really picked it up in his final few seasons with the Calgary Flames. We'll just switch to his season stats here. This year he only had 18 points, but he played fourth line minutes these last 3-4 seasons. Really stuck it out with Calgary. Was an incredible leader for this team. Just incredible guy in the community. Really stuck it out with the Flames. So you have to give this guy a lot of credit. You can't thank Matt Stajan enough for what he did in his time with the Calgary Flames. I don't think he's going to retire at 34 here. But wherever he goes, you got to wish him the best of luck. Just such a great guy for us for so many years. But unfortunately, hopefully in real life and both in this game, his time as a Calgary Flame has come to an end. We're not going to extend Matt Stajan going into next season. So just a quick look there at the NHL players from the regular season. I just wanted to... or from the playoffs, I mean. I just wanted to just quickly look at how we did through our 10 games in the Stanley Cup playoffs. As mentioned, just quickly, we finished with a 49, 28, and 5 record in the regular season. We hit the 103 points. We eclipsed the 100-point plateau, with 103 points. We finished second in the Pacific Division, also second in the Western Conference. It was a stellar year. We put up 238 goals for, 218 goals against. In round one, we swept the Edmonton Oilers by a score of 4-0 in that series. They finished with 102 points, just 1 point back of us for third in the division, and then we lost 2-4 in 6 games to the Chicago Blackhawks, who finished with 90 points. They finished as the 8th seed, just squeaking into the playoffs, and now they're off to the Western Conference Finals. So just a little bit of a summarization there of the Calgary Flames as a team and how they finished there in the regular season and the playoffs. Let's quickly switch now to our American Hockey League team. Like I said, I really want to try and get through as much as we can here in this episode, so I'm trying to go as fast as I can. And of course, this menu is freezing right now as I'm trying to switch between the AHL and the NHL. There we go. We never did take a look at this AHL team at all. When we finished the regular season, we just got right into the playoffs, so we never took a look at this team. So I kind of want to look at... why is it going to this screen here? I want the AHL, please. So I just kind of want to look at how they did. They were one of the best teams in the AHL all year. They may even have finished first. I'm pretty sure they finished first in their division. And then in the playoffs, they got swept by the Bakersfield Condors. Or I don't think they got swept, but they did lose to Bakersfield in round 1 of the AHL playoffs. So give me a second. I gotta get this menu to load for some reason. All right, we're back. I don't know what was happening there, but for whatever reason, it's just the menus here on Franchise Mode in NHL 18. So here we are. We finished with 51, 23, and 8 in the AHL in the regular season. That's incredible. Hitting the 50 win plateau in the AHL. As mentioned, we clinched the conference, the Pacific Division, and the Western Conference with 110 points. Like I said, 51, 23, and 8. Just an incredible year for the Stockton Heat in the AHL. So yes, they did finish first overall, just by 1 point, beating out the Phantoms, who are the Flyers affiliate, by 1 point there. Calgary. Stockton finishes with 110 points. So that's incredible. Like that just speaks to our depth down in the AHL. We'll take a look at those players in a second. But what an incredible season! I mean, we did not give our AHL team enough credit. Again, we didn't pay attention to them at all. I don't really care if they went on to win the Calder Cup, because that's not where we are as an organization. We're not concerned about our prospects and our depth team winning championships now. These guys are likely... we want these guys to be in the NHL now. So again, we'll take a look at the player screen here in a second. But just incredible, the fact that they actually finished first overall through a 31 AHL team. So 31 AHL league, excuse me. So anyways, goals for, let's just quickly take a look here. We did finish with the first in the AHL goals for with 236. So we did average about 2.88 goals a game in terms of goals against. We finished right in the bottom half. We finished, what, 6th? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, in the sixth best with the goals against with 189, actually tied for fifth there with the Winnipeg Jets, affiliate the Manitoba Moose. So, we were in the top five in goals against, and we were number one in goals for. So we just dominated in that category. I'm not going to look at special teams because that doesn't really matter, but we did finish first overall in the entire league in the AHL. So what an incredible season for the Stockton Heat. Again, they hit the 50-win plateau. Just incredible stuff that they did down there. It makes it that much more shocking that they lost in the first round. A massive upset, obviously, in the AHL playoffs that they exited in round one. So, looking at our players here. Spencer Fu was our top player all year long. I think he led the team in goals with 36. He did, and led the team in points with 74, tied with Andrew Mangiapane. Both Spencer Fu, who we actually had to put in this game because he wasn't in this game. Again, I said it in episode 1. We put him in. We gave him a high top 9 because I thought that was quite fair. Similar to Andrew Mangiapane, these are two guys that can or probably will step into the NHL as early as next season for us. Maybe not Spencer Fu. He is a little low, 72, although Mangiapane is only 2 better at 74. But these are two guys that are definitely going to be in the NHL for us one day and fairly soon. We all know about Spencer Fu, that he was the highly sought-after free agent, the number one college free agent in the NHL last summer, and he did choose to sign with the Calgary Flames. So we know he's going to be a big player. He's probably going to be something similar to Drake Caggiula in Edmonton. So I hope I hope to see him make the NHL as early as next season. I can see him projecting in on the third line at one point in the future. Maybe these two, because it's a left and a right winger, maybe these two are the future on the third line with Mark Jankowski. Maybe not as early as next season, but it would be incredible to see them there, one day. To have Mangiapane, Jankowski, and Fu. That would be an incredible line in the NHL as a depth line as our third line. Anyways, I'm talking really fast here. I'm tripping over myself here, but I really want to get through as much as we can here. So they both finished with 74 points in 82 games. Incredible stuff out of Mangiapane and Fu. Like I said, Fu led us with 36 goals. So to do that at the pro level in his first season for Spencer Fu, that's incredible. Mangiapane, what is this? His 50 assists, by the way, for Mangiapane. Incredible stuff. His second full season. That's what I thought in the AHL. Obviously, you can see he just skyrocketed from his first season in which he played 66 games. He goes 82 games, 74 points, 50 assists for Andrew Mangiapane. So just incredible stuff out of him. Again, this guy was over 100 points in junior with the Barrie Colts in his time in junior. A lot of people didn't know if he could make it in the NHL at 5'10", 182 pounds, but he is certainly making the case both in real life and in this game. Captain Freddie Hamilton played the entire season in the AHL for us, put up 56 points in a top 6 row. Hunter Shinkaruk, 45 points. Emile Poirier, who had 43 points through 82 games. There is Garrett Hathaway with 42 points. I think he played in a center role for us. We were quite weak at the center position this year. Marek Harivik there, 36 points. Hunter Smith, Austin Carroll. Rasmus Andersson was our top defenseman in terms of points. He had 24 points through 82 games. Would like to see a little bit more out of Rasmus Andersson in terms of the offense. But again, this is a guy who I think is definitely going to step into the NHL as early as next season. I do want to see him grow quite a bit, just like Mark Jankowski. He's a 76 overall. If he can get to the low 80s, like 80, 81, but at least hit 80, this guy's going to be in the NHL for us as early as next season. So if he can get to 80, that's going to be huge for us. We'll take a look at our lines in a bit. Maybe not in this episode, but we will take a look eventually at our lines. I'm saying that because Michael Stone really did not have a good year for us. I think he was like a -7 or something. He really didn't have a lot of points, and he's eating up quite a bit of salary. So I'm wondering if maybe this offseason, if maybe we get rid of Michael Stone. He is a right shot, and he's playing on our third pairing. That means that Rasmus Andersson could jump in as early as next season, because Michael Stone's kind of blocking any right pairing, third pairing defenseman, right shot, third pairing defenseman, from coming in, because he's sitting in that third pairing spot. If we got rid of him, a guy like Rasmus Andersson will easily take that spot next season. Now, Ken, we're not locking Rasmus Andersson for that spot. We'll leave that to preseason / training camp, but there's a pretty good chance that he could get that spot, but we do need Michael Stone out of that spot. Now, we could bring him up into that left spot where Brett Kulak was playing, because both Brett Kulak and Matt Bartkowski, Brett Kulak had an okay year, but I was hoping for a little bit more out of him. I'm thinking if I had to choose between Anderson and Kulak next season, I would rather have Anderson playing in the NHL over Kulak, especially if he can make that jump to closer to an 80 during the offseason. But he is a right shot. Kulak's the left shot. And that left-right shot is really important. And we do want to keep this realistic. But in real life, it's so important to have that left and right shot. So we'll make decisions. We don't need Stone's salary anyway. Like I said, he's eating up a lot of salary. I don't know why the Flames signed him to that contract when they acquired Travis Hamonic in the offseason last year. So we'll have to make a decision on Michael Stone going forward. But that is what is likely going to happen. We'll probably ship Stone out at some point during the offseason, but we have to wait for the right time. So just looking there, Oliver Chillington, who also projects to be in the NHL one day, medium top 6. He's only a 70 overall. He still easily has another year of pro to go in the AHL. 20 years of age. This guy will continue to grow. He's not NHL ready yet, but 20 points through 82 games. As an offensive defenseman, that's a little disappointing. You want to see more out of Chillington. He did play in top pairing minutes with Rasmus Andersson all season. So definitely needs another year in the AHL for Oliver Chillington. Now, both Dmitry Yaskins and Joe Morrow, we claimed both these guys off of waivers in the month of February. I believe it was Joe Morrow who we claimed first at the beginning of the month, and Dmitry Yaskins at the end of the month. Both guys come in and play roughly 25 games for us. 9 points through 25 games for Morrow, 8 points, but a -4 for Dmitry Yaskins. So definitely hoping for a lot better out of the Yaskins. I was surprised that St. Louis waived him. Being a medium top 9 and all, at 25 years of age, he's not going to grow too much more, but this is a solid depth guy. With the potential medium top 9, he could grow, closer to an 80. I mean, he could be in our NHL as a fourth liner, probably as early as next season, but not good numbers through 22 games in the AHL there for Dmitry Yaskins. So again, that's what preseason training camp is for. It's going to be an interesting off-season and then preseason for us. Looking at our goaltenders, we mentioned that John Gillies played 14 games for us at trade deadline. We then brought him up and permanently gave him a spot in the NHL. And so now John Gillies is just going to stay with us in the NHL going into next season. You can see through 14 games there, he put up a .920 save percentage. Tyler Parsons played the majority of the season for us in the AHL, and rightfully so. He has the higher potential than John Gillies, who is a medium starter, a high starter for Tyler Parsons at 70 overall. Obviously, he still has to grow. Both Parsons and Gillies are not NHL ready next season. That's why we're keeping Mike Smith. We're hoping that, again, John Gillies can be NHL ready as early as the following season, but I don't think Tyler Parsons will be down there. But the good news is that we are going to give Tyler Parsons the entire net now in the AHL, allow him to grow. Again, high starter, so he should grow into a pretty good goalie for us. 45-win season for Tyler Parsons. Just incredible stuff. He carried this team. He was probably their MVP all season, as was Mike Smith for us in the NHL. .918 save percentage through 69 games. So he played almost 70 games this season. Incredible numbers for him. That's definitely showing that he's ready to play in the pro level. Hopefully he grows quite a bit this offseason and just continues to grow. But really good stuff out of Tyler Parsons. I'm very happy to see his numbers. He's going to have incredible progress going forward. So the plan is just to keep Tyler Parsons where he is. Keep him doing what he's doing. I wouldn't be surprised to see if he maybe picked up some hardware. We can't look at the awards yet, but once the awards come out, wouldn't be surprised to see if he maybe picks up, goalie of the year in the AHL, maybe even MVP. I know that's a lot to say right now, but again, you look at Stockton being the #1 team in the league. And the fact that Parsons had that incredible of a year, would not be surprised to see him at least be in the conversation for some of that hardware when it's all said and done. Looking at our players here in the AHL in the playoffs, Poirier led us with 5 points with 4 games again. They didn't get swept because it was a best of 5 series in the AHL, not a best of 7, but they only played 4 games. Spencer Fu there, 3 points, minus 4 though in the playoffs. So just a quick look there at our players in the playoffs. Not a good playoff year for our team in the AHL, but just an incredible season. Don't know what the hell happened in the playoffs, but there was a drop-off. So that was just a quick look at our AHL team. I really wanted to do that. We never did do that. Just wanted to look at how our prospects did this year. Overall, incredibly impressed with the fact that they finished first overall. Both Spencer Fu and Andrew Mangiapane had incredible seasons. Rasmus Anderson, a pretty good season. He's going to be in the NHL, like I said, as early as next season. But just extremely proud of Tyler Parsons. This is going to be our future goalie right there. Him and John Gillies, and the way that Parsons performed in his first full season in the AHL. Just incredible. So, we are, like I said, we want to get through as much as we can in this video. Doesn't look like we'll get right up to the draft, but let's see if we can, or up to the free agency, but let's see if we can at least get to the draft and maybe the re-signing phase. That'd be great. Before we get there, we got to finish simulating the rest of the regular season in the National Hockey League. So the quickest way to do it is by calendar, obviously. So we will go a week first here. So coming off that second round loss to the Chicago Blackhawks, we'll sim by a week. I just want to see who is in the conference finals. We know it's going to be Chicago and Florida, and see who is joining them in their respective conferences. So it's either Minnesota or Dallas playing the Hawks in the West Final. And I think it was either the Leafs or was it Rangers? Leafs or somebody playing in the East. So it is Dallas and Chicago. They're already split 1-1 in the West. And in the East, it is Toronto and Florida. So Toronto does get by whoever they were playing. I forget. Tampa. I think it was Tampa, yeah. They won the President's Trophy. They're really poised. They're probably the favorites right now to win the Stanley Cup. They probably were coming in, but definitely up now 2-0 in their series. They definitely have to be favorites to win the Cup. So let's see if we can advance from this screen. Maybe we'll go a little faster. We can just keep hitting the advance day button here. It's going pretty slow though, so I think I might go back to calendar. I just want to see, yeah, we'll go back to calendar, but just want to see who makes the Stanley Cup Finals, and then obviously wins the Stanley Cup. So, and then we'll have a better idea of where, where everybody finishes in terms of hardware, and we'll get ourselves as close as we can to the draft. So, let's just go 2 weeks here. That will take us right into the Stanley Cup Finals. So I'll have a good idea now of who the 2 conference championship teams are. All right, so it is Chicago. It is Toronto. You know what? The way Chicago was playing in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, no surprise that they got themselves back to the Stanley Cup Finals. No surprise that they won yet another Western Conference championship. And again, no surprise that the Toronto Maple Leafs are there. And this series is deadlocked at 2 games apiece. So we're right near the end here, so let's just keep advancing days and find out who wins the Stanley Cup in 2018. Will it be a Canadian team for the first time since 1993? It's been so long since a Canadian team has lifted the Stanley Cup. The Montreal Canadiens were the last team to do so in 93. So will it be a 25-year drought coming to an end, or will it be the Chicago Blackhawks winning the Stanley Cup once again? And the Leafs are 1 win away. So we're going to do our scouting now. We're right at the end of our scouting, so I don't think it matters who we scout now at this point. Don't know if we did the SHL. Let's do the forwards for 3 weeks. We don't even have that many weeks left. So the Leafs are now 1 win away from being the first Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup in 25 years. The Cup may be coming home to Toronto in the center of the universe for the first time in... I forget when the last time the Leafs won the Cup, like the 1960s, I think. I don't even know how many years that's been. It's just been incredible. Over 50 years, obviously. I think over 60 years. Maybe not that high, but the drought may come to an end for the Toronto Maple Leafs, who hold the longest Stanley Cup drought in the NHL. Maybe one of the longest droughts in the all sports franchises. And will it come to an end? The Toronto Maple Leafs, led by Austin Matthews, who will likely clean up some hardware as well. Let's see here. Are the Chicago Blackhawks going to force 7? As soon as it finishes simming. Playoffs are complete, and there it is. The Toronto Maple Leafs have won the Stanley Cup. It's not shown on the screen, but the Toronto Maple Leafs, the first Canadian team in 25 years, and for the first time since, 1960 something, they have won the Stanley Cup. So, incredible stuff out of Toronto all year long. They won the President's Trophy. Led their division, their conference, obviously, en route to a Stanley Cup championship. So I never thought I would say this, but Toronto, plan the parade. You are Stanley Cup champions in the year of 2018. That's incredible. They're like the Chicago Cubs of the NHL. That's an incredible drought to end. And they're going to be celebrating for a long time in Toronto. Center of the universe, obviously that's huge for Leafs fans worldwide. So that's incredible stuff. I think it said the Rockford Ice Hogs, which I think are the affiliate of the Hawks, won the AHL championship. So it would have been nice if that was the Stockton Heat after the season they had, but obviously wasn't the case. So we are done the regular season. So I think what we'll do is we'll get right up against the draft now. So here's the draft. We will get our awards. We'll get our player retirements, in which we expect it will be a Jaromir Jagr retiring from the Calgary Flames. So there's a salary cap there. So let's take a look as we get here to the draft. So ticket drive, you can just keep the current ticket prices. I don't care about that. So let's just see who cleans up the awards in the NHL and who retires. I think we'll get retirements before this. So there's the draft lottery standings. Columbus holds the first overall pick. The Islanders, Capitals, Detroit, and Carolina around the top 5. Okay, so we'll go with that. We don't have our first overall pick, by the way, so that is one thing about the draft. So hang on here. We blah, 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 blah. Okay, so we failed one, passed one. Yeah. Nice to know. All right. So player retirements. This is what we need to look at. We do expect Jaromir Jagr to be on this list. If he's not, this is a huge, huge win for us. But don't get your hopes up high. I think he is going to retire. So there it is. Jaromir Jagr retires. As expected. I didn't think this guy was going to play another year, both in real life and in this game. He said in real life that this would be his last year anyway. But I think even if he didn't say that, I think in this game they automatically would have made him retire because they don't like guys playing in their high 40s for some odd reason. Obviously, future Hall of Famer right there, one of the greatest to ever play the game, Jaromir Jagr. We all know that. Yeah. So we don't have to get to that. But incredible final season for us. I mean, I'm not going to look at Jagr's career. I'm going to look at his 1 year that he played as a Calgary Flame, and it was incredible. 27 goals, 22 assists. Good enough for 49 points. 49 points. He finished one shy. So, I mean, we can look at his illustrious Hall of Famer career here, but I'm just looking at his final year as a Calgary Flame. We did not expect to get 27 goals and 49 points out of a third liner like Jaromir Jagr. Wish he could have sticked around for longer with the Flames, because we definitely could have used his depth going forward, but we knew that this was probably the case here with Jaromir Jagr. So it's unfortunate, but we will say goodbye to Jaromir Jagr. Great career for him. Let's just take a look at maybe some of the other players that retired besides Jaromir Jagr. Jarome Iginla calls it a career. So he played his final season with the Arizona Coyotes. I don't know why. You can see there, again, Jagr, 1963 in 1793 games played, 1,636 games played for Iginla, 1,345 points for him. Just incredible stuff out of Iginla. Again, such a huge connection with the Calgary Flames. He'll probably retire as a Flame one day, but just incredible stuff. Wished Iginla could have stuck around longer as well. But we already know when the Hall of Fame class of, 2019, 21 to 2022 or 2023, we already know who's going to headline the class. Jaromir Jagr and Jarome Iginla. First ballot Hall of Famers. Both of them are two of the greatest players to ever play the game. They're going to go down in history as two of the greatest players to ever play the game. That's just incredible stuff from two absolute legends in both Jaromir Jagr and Jarome Iginla. So Iggy hanging it up. His number 12 will go to the rafters in Calgary, and Jaromir Jagr as well. So both of them servicing the Calgary Flames. Iginla obviously did it for 16 seasons. Jaromir Jagr for 1, but incredible stuff out of both of them. Just looking at some of the other players, Martin Erat, Alexander Burrows. I didn't even think Steven Reinkrip was even alive anymore. The fact that he was still playing. John Michael Lyles. There's Nicholas Hagman, who was part of that FNUF trade. Francis Boschman, Fiddler, Neal. So just looking at some players here. But the big ones are obviously both Jerome McGinley and Jaromir Jagr calling it a career. So 2 Hall of Famers right there, future Hall of Famers. We already know in both McGinley and Jagr. Incredible stuff. Can't say enough good things. I'm just trying to think of good stuff to say about them. You really can't. I can't even start about talking about both of their careers. There's just so much to touch on. They're just such incredible players, and they'll go down as 2 of the greats. Excuse me. Okay. Okay, so we are right against the draft here. This episode is going a little long, but we'll get the draft obviously done in this episode and see maybe we can get the signing phase done. But let's get the draft at least done. So, going into the draft, we do not have our first round pick. That I mentioned a little bit earlier. We do have a second round pick thanks to our first trade of the season that we made back in the beginning of February. We traded a prospect, Adam Ruzicka, and a 4th round pick this year for a second round pick. Now, we did have 2 4th round picks, so we just traded one of those 4th round picks and Ruzicka, and we got a second round pick because we didn't even have a second round pick. We've traded both of our first and second round picks in this year away to get Travis Hamonic last offseason. So we are not picking in the first round. We, however, are going to pick in the second round thanks to a trade we made earlier this year. We don't have, I believe, too many other other picks in this year's draft. So it's going to be a bit of a weaker, okay. A bit of a weaker draft for us, but that is okay. Like I said, we have a pretty good team down in Stockton. So let's start the draft. Calgary Flames 2017-18. Or 2018 now, I guess 2017's out of the books. Here it is, June 23rd, the 2018 NHL entry draft. The Calgary Flames will pick in the second round. Excuse me, and then do we have our third? I think we do. So Columbus is on the clock here. Let's just go here. I want to look at our picks here. Okay. We're not making any trades. Draft picks. Yeah, so here we go. We have that second round pick that we got from the Rangers, which is 48th overall, as mentioned in that trade. We don't have our third. We traded away our third. Not this year. We must have traded away earlier. So we didn't have our third. We have the Panthers' 4th. We traded our 4th away for that second round pick. So we still have the Panthers' 4th and then our 5th, 6th, and 7th. So we are only picking 5 times in the 2018 entry draft. I'm not going to go crazy and make trades and try and acquire a first round pick or more draft picks. We don't need them. Would have been nice, obviously, to have more picks. But we're not in the position where we need to be having loads of draft picks at this point. But hopefully we get 5 pretty good players here in the 2018 draft. Don't really want to look at the trading block, really. Skaters matching block. So, I mean, we could just quickly, just scan through this here. Nothing matching Arizona. Yeah, so not much on the trading block anyway. Just want to see if anything stood out, excuse me, but yeah, so I'm not going to go through this. We don't need players right now. I think we're going to wait till the till free agency period to do that. So let's just get to the draft then. Let's do sim options here. So let's see who the Columbus Blue Jackets picked first overall in 2018, and it is Rasmus Dahlin. By no surprise, he's projected to go number 1 overall, medium elite. So that's good for them. They're going to get a franchise defenseman, 78 overall already. Dahlin could be in the NHL as early as next season. So good stuff for the Blue Jackets there. The New York Islanders then take this Villano guy. He's a playmaker, medium elite as well. Don't know where he came from. And then 3rd overall to the to the Washington Capitals is a right winger. I'm not even going to start pronouncing that name. Zadard, whatever. Medium elite as well. So a lot of good players here in the top. Medium elite's pretty good. They're going to get pretty good players when you get a medium elite player. So let's sim to the next round. So let's finish the whole first round. Let's go to round 1 here. So just take a quick look here at some of the players that went. Here's a Sutter, who went, he was the first high top 9 player to go to the Devils, 7 overall. Vegas there. I really want to just see who the Islanders picked with our first round pick. So we got to go all the way. So they 24 overall, but did they pick again? No. Did they pick earlier than that? They did. They had, oh yeah, they had the second. Okay, so this was their pick right here, the second overall pick. Then they picked again, 24th overall, which was our first round pick for the Travis Hamonic trade that we made. And what are you doing? Round 1. So I gotta go back there. Okay. There we go. So they got a medium elite centerman at 53 overall with our first round pick that we gave them last year for Travis Hamonic. So that's kind of tough because medium elite, they pretty much, like, I mean, look at the Oilers. They got a medium bottom 6, and then they stole medium elite. The Islanders did. So that's pretty damn good for Travis Hamonic. That's pretty damn good. So I'm kind of pissed, but it's not to say that we would have picked this same player if we had kept our first round pick and not got Hamonic, but they have a pretty good player there at medium elite in the Hamonic trade. So good for them. But we got Hamonic in the deal. That was still pretty good for us. So let's sim up to our pick now. And now, for the first time in this draft, the Calgary Flames are on the clock, on the floor. Let's see how well our scouting did. Let's see if we can get a decent player in round 2, 48th overall. So we will make this pick, then the rest of the draft will just sim away. We'll sim the rest of the picks, but I just want to make our first round pick, or our second round pick. So, projection, we have a couple of second round guys that are projected to go in the second round. We got, what are we doing here? Okay, potential, that's what I wanted to go by. Come on. Come on. This menu's slow. Why is it going by goalies? I didn't go by position, I went by potential. Alright, there we go. Alright, so we got some top 6 forwards projected to go. A medium top 6 here in this Kennedy guy. Some top 9s then going here. High top 9s, exact top 9s, medium top 9s. So I think we'll obviously go with a top 6 projected guy. These are the guys we scouted. This is the best guy right now. This G. Kennedy, he's a left winger. This guy's exact top 6. So I think we're going to trust our scouts and go with this G. Kennedy guy. Because, I mean, Gavin Kennedy... he's a grinder, top 6, potential, medium top 6, projected to go in the 3rd or 4th round, but this could be a good pick for us if we can steal him here in the 2nd round. Nothing really standing out there in this guy, but left winger, we could always use more skill up front, so let's pick this guy. He was our best rated guy in terms of potential by our scouts, so let's see if that stands true. And yes, he's a medium bottom 6, so not bad. Medium bottom 6, I mean, look at they got a high 7th here, a medium bottom 6 there, medium top 6, so not bad. We got pretty much, like, we didn't steal this guy, but it wasn't like a bad pick for us either. It was about where he was projected, or what he was projected to do, because again, looking at these guys here, he's about in the same class as everybody else taken in the 2nd round. So not bad for us. At 48th overall, we get a medium bottom 6 forward in Gavin Kennedy. So welcome to the Calgary Flames. So now let's just sim the entire draft because we only pick, 4 more times. So the draft is now done in 2018. There is our players, the 5 players that we picked. So 48th overall, Gavin Kennedy, and then we got a couple other players there that we don't know anything about just yet, but there's a look at them, and we'll take a look at who they are and what positions they play in the re-signing phase. So good to welcome prospects to our team. Obviously, anytime you can get prospects, anytime you can get players, that is huge. We only picked 5 times, but those are 5 more players and prospects than we had prior to this draft, so that is good. So let's sim right up to this re-signing phase. I'm just looking at the time here. I think we can can at least start this re-signing phase. So we did not extend James Neal and Michael Backlund. Those are our big ones to do. We're going to try and do it now in the re-signing phase. We did try and extend them with the new feature here in franchise mode. They did not want to extend, however, so now we have them in free agency to extend both of them. So let's sim right up to the re-signing phase. Yes, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Alright, so here we go. It's time to re-sign our players here in franchise mode. Gonna try and get through as much of this as we can. So list all contracts, please. We'll take a look at our UFA. So first thing we're gonna do here is main roster. Okay, I want to look at our UFAs. So in the UFA pool, you can see we got Michael Backlund, James Neal, Chris Versteeg, Matt Barkowski, Matt Stajan, Garrett Hathaway, Tanner Glass, Marek Harivik, Gaznik, Phillips, Lynch. So we got quite a few UFAs here. In terms of the RFAs, we definitely want to get these guys signed as well. The biggest one being Mark Jankowski, Yaskins, Morrow, Kulak, Wotherspoon, so you can see down there, Chillington down there as well. So the biggest thing, first of all, is the UFAs. Sorry, I just want to look at goalies as well, because they don't put the goalies on this screen. So in terms of RFAs, big one right there in John Gillies. So where to start? We have a lot to do here, a lot of players to get at here. So I think we will start with all skaters, and we will start with our UFAs, and might as well start with Michael Backlund. So let's go ahead and offer Michael Backlund a contract. He wants 4 years at 5.77. You know what? We didn't get him extended in the regular season when I wanted to. We don't want to lose this guy. He's a second line forward, 85 overall. I don't have any problem with paying him 5.7. That is a lot of money, but I just want to make sure we get this guy locked up. So let's pay Michael Backlund what he wants. James Neal is our next guy. Let's see what he wants. Oh, come on, James. So he, I don't know. This is a lot. I'm gonna ask James if we can bring it down to 5 mil for 4 years. He had a better playoffs. Not as good as the regular season, but who's to say he doesn't take off for us? He's still a second line forward at 84 overall. Let's extend him for 5 mil at 4 years. In terms of these guys, so I think now what we will do is start eliminating guys. So Matt Stajan, we already know we're not bringing him back, so let's release Matt Stajan. This is hard to do. As a true Flames fan, it's hard to release Stajan for all he's done for us, but Matt Stajan's time as a Flame has now come to an end. So we've released Matt Stajan. Looking at our, just go by potential here. Luke Gaznik, I don't think we need to bring this guy back, so we will release him as well. Tanner Glass we can release as well. These are guys that had no potential at all, just playing in our AHL. Appreciate them, but we don't need to bring them back. So looking at some of our other players here. Okay, so we definitely want to bring back Hathaway, Tuola, and Phillips. Matt Barkowski is an interesting one. Like, do we bring him back? I think we'll take a look at what we got in terms of contracts in a bit. Marek Harivik. 26 years of old, 70 overall, medium AHL top 6. These guys I'm going to leave for now. We're going to come back to them. I want to get our our main guys out of the way first. So Mark Jankowski after James Neal and Michael Backlund. Our next guy we want to lock up is Mark Jankowski. He only wants 2 years out of 2 mil. You know what? That's fair. It's a bridge contract. I just want to see if I took it to 3 years, he wants 2.5. You know what? Let's go 2 years at 2 mil, or 2.025. That's fair. We can see how much he grows in 2 years and then give him a new contract on what he wants after that. But I think this is a good deal for us to go 2 years at 2 mil. So not bad. We'll take Jankowski on that deal. So next, I think we want to lock up Chillington. So he just wants 1 year. He wants to feel out with 1 year, stay in the AHL on a 2-way. If I went 2 years, that's only raising it by 2.5, so let's do that. Let's go 2 years, 2.5. Try Chillington on that. Kulak I would like to bring back as well. Shinkarik. I would like to bring Shakaric back as well, so let's do that. 2 years at 1 mil. It's quite a bit. Let's go 1 mil flat for 2 years for Shinkarik. Poirier, what are you asking for? That is fair. That's more what Shinkarik should have got. So we'll bring Poirier back on that. Joe Morrow, we're going to leave for a second. Kulak, we'll bring Kulak back for sure. That's a good deal, considering that he could be our 7th or 6th defenseman in the NHL. So we'll bring back Kulak for what he wants. Down here, any guys that we can release yet? Not yet. These are all AHL guys. And again, our AHL team did good this year, so I don't want to go releasing too many guys just yet. But let's, again, let's get our main guys out of the way. That's what I wanted to say. So we now have to get goalies. I want to get John Gillies out of the way here. So obviously, we're bringing Gillies back. He only wants 1 year. What happens if we went 2? What happens if we went 3? What happens if we went 4? Let's go 3 years at 825. I mean, I want to bring him back for... You can only bring him back for 3. Okay. We'll go 8... You know what? We'll go 8... We'll go 900 mil. 900,000. 900,000 for 3 years. Per year for 3-year contract. We want to lock up Gillies. He's one of our future goalies. That will take him to, what, 27? 26? So, 27, sorry. So, that will be a good deal for us because he'll just be in his prime then, and we'll get a better look at what he's like. But he's coming back as our NHL backup next year. He's going to have quite a few starts next year because we don't want to overload Mike Smith either. So, I think this is a good deal to bring Gillies back on that. Rittich will leave for a second. So, those are all the big guns. We just offered contracts to all of our big players. So, the next thing now we have to do is see if any of these guys accept. Hopefully all of them accept, and then where do we go from there? So we got like, what, 5-6 days of signing to do here, of the signing period, sorry, to do here. So Michael Backlund has rejected our offer. No, I've decided to reject it. I've decided to test. No, Michael, no. Like this, what? Some more money could change his mind. Okay, so we're gonna have to offer Michael Backlund even more money than what he's asking for. Like, oh my god. Okay. Kulak has accepted. Thank you, Brett Kulak. Jankowski has accepted. Huge that we're bringing Janko back. Neil rejected. Oh my god. I've decided to test some more. Okay, so both Backlund and Neil are pushing us to the brinks here. We can't afford to lose any of them. Michael Backlund, we definitely can't afford. And James Neal, we gave up so much for this guy. Like, we can't lose these guys. Shinkarik has accepted. Poirier accepted. Chillington accepted. Gillies accepted. 3 more years of John Gillies. So, everybody accepts except for our 2 biggest players, and that's Michael Backlund and James Neal. So, this episode's running pretty long now. I want to see if we can get Backlund and Neal locked up, and then I think we'll end the episode here, and then pick up episode 10 with the remaining players that we got to sign, and then free agency. So, let's go like this. Let's go contracts. Let's go to UFAs. All skaters, yeah. UFAs here. And let's offer Backlund and Neal more contract money to see what they want here. So more money could change their mind. Like, oh, Jesus, I offered them what they want. So where do we go? 5.8 for Michael Backlund over 4 years. Like, I can't go much more than that. And James, the real deal, Neal. Like, we gave up a lot for you. I'll give you exactly what you want. In fact, I will go 2.5 mil. 5.25 mil. There, I'm offering you guys just a little bit more than what you want. See if that is enough to bring these guys back. We have to bring them back. We have to. We can't afford to lose these guys. They want to test free agency, but we can't let them. Like I said, there's just too much invested in both of them. Okay. Advance the day. Come on, Backlund. Come on, Neal. Again, he's rejected it. Michael Backlund. He needs even more money. And same with James Neal. So this is not good for us at all. This is a huge slap in the face. I was not expecting this out of both Backlund and Neal. Maybe more so Neal than Backlund. This is not good at all, though. Okay, Michael Backlund. Do we go 6 mil even? Like, Jesus. I can't give you 6 mil, though. That's a lot of money. 5.9 mil. 5.9 mil, Michael Backlund, for 4 years. Please take that deal. Please. And James Neal. Like, what do I give you? 5.4 for 4 years? I think that's fair. Come on, guys. I think that is fair. Like, come on. Oh. I don't know. Come on, you guys. So how many days do we have left? Do we have enough days for the remaining guys, too? We really only need 1 day for the remaining guys, but... Oh, okay. We got like 3 days. Okay, so they have to accept here. They have to accept. Backlund and Neal rejected. Alright. And rejected. Alright, so there is a very good chance that we are going to lose at least one of these guys. Oh, that is not good. Because we gave up a lot for James Neal. So I think what we will do here is end this episode because it's gone on really long and I don't want it to exceed 60 minutes again. When we come back in episode 10, we have a massive, massive problem. Both Michael Backlund and James Neal are not wanting to return to the Calgary Flames. We are offering them money. We're going to have to offer them even more money and pray that they accept it. We've only got 2 days left to extend them or else they both hit free agency. We can't let that happen. And then we're going to, in episode 10, we'll resign the rest of our guys, and then we'll get to free agency. So it's a very big episode. Excuse me, episode 11. This is episode 10. In episode 11 coming up, but we got some massive problems ahead of us. But let's see if we can conquer them. And at least we have to at least get Backlund signed. At least Backlund. I'm gonna hate to lose James Neal, but we have to at least get one of these guys signed. So I'm gonna end this episode here because it's gone on pretty long. I probably should have ended it before the signing phase. But that is okay. At least we have a better idea of what we got ourselves into here with Backlund and Neal. But we'll pick things up in episode 11 in the off season.